All right, guys, we're over here at Your Fitness 365. We're getting ready for our powerlifting meet on November 9th. So last week we covered our questions on the squat. So this week we have a Q&A on the bench press. So Sammy here is going to read off some questions from some people that submitted them.
All right, first question is from Nick. He's coming back from a shoulder injury. So his main question was, how can I start lifting heavy again coming back from a shoulder injury?
The main thing you want to be, obviously, is careful, but spending a good amount of time with your technique, making sure that your shoulders are strong, really activating you want to be pulling out on the bar, so you feel like you're separating it from the middle. So make sure your shoulders, your deltoid, your rhomboid, and everything are strong and able to handle that. That's what protects your shoulder to begin with. Depending on the shoulder injury, you really, what I call slow cooking, you really need to bring it up slow. Be very careful with the weight, and not to mention the other parts of your body. Make sure your triceps are strong, being able to handle significant weight. You don't want too much stress going on in the shoulder. And then other than that, making sure your elbow position is correct to take stress off the shoulder. So you don't want to be in a flared out position. You want to be more of an elbows tucked position with your elbows underneath your wrist. So it really depends on the shoulder injury.
Warm up, always warm up. Confinement for your warm-ups if you need help. All right, second question we got from Belinda. She's asking about grip on the bar and bar path or the descent. What's appropriate, what's the best for optimal bench press?
Okay, we'll go over to the bench and demonstrate this for a second. Mainly what you want to do is make sure you have the same grip on the smooth and rough part of the bar here, whether you're using a thumb, you're using a full thumb, or a half thumb, or a no thumb where your index finger is on the grip. Now depending on the grip depends on how much of your triceps versus your chest you're going to be using. A closer grip means more triceps that you'll be using. A wider grip will mean more chest and anterior deltoid that you'll be using for the lift. Okay, so everybody has their standard grip. So for Sammy, his standard grip is a thumb distance from the rough and smooth part of the bar. So he's going to make sure he has the same grip on both sides. And now from there, when he takes the bar out, okay, a common thing that I see is a wrist straight position. So here, the bar is working that way, while you want to work the bar this way. So in this position, as he brings the bar down, the bar is constantly going that way while he's trying to push this way. As the weight gets heavier, you're going to be working against yourself the entire time. This way you spend a lot of energy trying to work the bar up. Instead, roll the wrists back this way. This activates your triceps better, allows you to get into a better position at the bottom, and now you and the bar are both working in the same direction, straight up. Okay, now for the descent. This sounds a little weird, but you want to feel you're rowing the bar down to your chest. Okay? Common position I see is go and bring the bar to your chest. But let's say you didn't row his bar down to the chest, his shoulders are now forward this way. Okay, let's do that again. Come on. Okay, so go down and roll the shoulders forward, don't right. So he's going to bring down, his shoulders are forward this way. That puts a lot of pressure on the anterior deltoid right here. And it puts him in a bad mechanical position at the bottom to push off of. He doesn't have adequate use of his chest or deltoid to push off of. Those are the muscles you use to get the bar from chest. So if we row the bar back to our chest, so row, squeezing the shoulders, helps to increase his arch there. The bar hits in the right spot, right on the sternum area. His elbows are in the right position. They're underneath his wrist. The wrist will roll back. He's very tight, and then he just pushes straight up. There we go. Row the bar to your chest again. In a very solid mechanical position right there. Adequate use of his chest on the raising the bar, and then lock out for the triceps.
That kind of leads us into our next question. Foot placement and shoulder placement. That's coming from Steven.
Okay, so we'll go back to the bench here. So for the shoulder placement, it's really more about where to put your eyes. That'll put your shoulders in the right spot. Keep your eyes pretty much right under the bar. Everybody might be a little bit different. Some people might be a little bit more towards the end of the bench. But for the most part, your eyes are pretty much directly underneath the bar. That'll put your shoulders in the right spot. Now the feet is where we get a little bit more personal preference. So one place that some people will put them is tucked back behind them. Some people are not able to do this. It's just the way our legs are built. If we have longer legs, it gets to be a little bit tougher to tuck back here. For this spot, your heels are up in the air. So as he presses off, he's going to drive his heels into the ground. That's what I'm pressing off. Now, if his feet are out here in the second foot placement, his feet are flat on the ground. Now he's going to push his heels that way, towards the end of the bench, as he presses off. We'll demonstrate this here in a second. So if legs are tucked, you're going to drive heels to the ground. If feet are flat, you're going to try to drive heels to the end of the bench. We'll go over those situations. So of course he's going to get his direct grip that we just went over. Roll the wrist back. He's going to feel like he rose the bar to his chest. In this position, he has his feet flat. Now as he comes up, he's going to drive his heels that way. Put heel pressure that way. Okay. So as the weight gets heavier, the more heel drive you're going to use going towards the end of the bench. Now when I say heel drive, I don't mean your feet are actively going to be moving towards the end of the bench. That's going to create an instability in you, and you're going to suffer some weight there, if not an accident. So your feet still stay where they are. You're just driving, feeling like you're driving your heels to the end of the bench. And now, for me, that's a little bit easier position to be in. The feet tuck position can be a little bit more difficult, just based on body type. But as he tucks his feet under, so severely tuck your feet under. Now this way, we'll get to this question in a second also, but this way helps arch your back a lot more. So now as he takes the bar up, roll the wrist back. Okay, now as he lowers, and gets ready to press off, he's going to drive those heels to the ground as he pushes up. Rows, drive the heels to the ground as he presses up. Now which foot placement you choose is really up to you. There isn't any one that helps you lift more than the other. But I guess you could say that if you use the wrong foot placement for you, you could end up with a possible injury or a weaker lift. But you do need to find the one that does work for you. You can come find me or Sandy if you need help on finding which foot placement is best for you. We're here literally all the time. Yeah, let's go over.
So same thing, we're kind of moving forward, and they kind of tie into each other with these questions. We got one from Roderick. Arching the back, is it good or bad?
Okay, so you literally cannot bench without arching your back. You will put yourself in a bad mechanical position to either get injured, and also you will suffer not being able to lift as much. Now this is because, it's easier if we show you here. So first, we're going to go over incorrect. So he's going to bench with a flat back. So when you bench, he's going to push your back down. Okay, so as he lowers, he's not going to have any space between his back right here. Back will be completely flat. Now Now watch what will happen to the rest of his body when he tries to lift. As he comes down, don't let your back come up. His shoulders will round over a lot more. Good press. Keep pressing your back into the ground. Okay. As you press up, his shoulders get into a much more rounded position, which puts more stress onto your shoulder. So we need to be put into a better mechanical position, which arching your back. There's different levels of arching your back as well, but we need to arch the back at some level in order to be in a correct mechanical position. So, whether that means a little bit of an arch where there's a little space in between his back and the bench, okay? That's fine. But that puts him in a stronger position for his shoulders and for being able to use his feet into the ground to drive his legs. He's able to squeeze those shoulders back, lowering the bar down a lot better, as well as stay very stable coming off his chest. And now, you'll commonly see in a powerlifting meet these severe arches. I mean, all they're trying to do is decrease the distance for the bar to travel, which helps them lift more weight. Some people can do it, some people can't. I wouldn't recommend trying to do that if your body says no. You could end up hurting yourself. You have to know what your limitations are on how much you can arch. But we'll go over that here real quick. So he'll get a severe arch here. So that is when your shoulders, in powerlifting rules anyway, your shoulders and your hips have to be on the bench. So you can have as much space here as you want to, and as much as you can handle. As you can see, that helps decrease the distance the bar has to go, which could allow you to lift more weight. If that puts you at risk, that's what some powerlifters are willing to do. It doesn't put everybody as much risk as others. Some people can do it. They're built that way. They can get away with doing it. So you have to know your limitations. Okay. Next question.
All right, last question, guys. Appropriate sets and rep range to build max. So set and rep range to build your max.
Okay, so there's a million combinations you can use for sets and reps. Typically for building strength, you need volume, but what's more important is you have volume at higher intensities. So you need more 3 and 5 rep maxes on your main lifts, whether it's bench, squat, deadlift, or anything. 3 and 5 rep maxes to build that strength, and then you'll realize that strength when you test 1 rep maxes. You can build your lower intensity volume through your assistant exercises, whether you're doing board presses, tricep extensions, push-ups, dumbbell benches, things like that, is where you'll spend more of your time doing lower intensity volume, which is more your 10, 12, 15 rep range, or 10 plus reps to failure. But stick in that 3 to 5 rep range to build strength, and then realize it at 1 rep max. And then if you want a little bit of hypertrophy, use more of the 6 to 8 and sometimes up to 10 reps to build some of the muscle, so you have more muscle to be able to lift more weight.
How many sets?
Sets. Typically, if you're doing 5 reps, typically you're going to stick in that 4 to 5 rep range, or 4 to 5 set range. If you're doing 3, you're probably going to do, since you're doing a lot higher intensity, you're probably only going to do 3 or 4 sets. But another way to do it is just work up to a 3 or 5 rep max on that lift that you're doing. You will then in turn get volume during those additional warm-up sets that you're doing, building up to that 3 and 5 rep max. You can spin your volume there. You can even do additional sets at, say you're warming up at 250, you're working up to say a 350 bench or something like that. So you're at 250 doing your warm-up. You can do an additional set there to build more volume. And you're still working in that 6 to 8 rep range to do that.
That's all the questions, guys. We'll upload this to our IGTV. our YouTube page. Next week we'll be going over the deadlift, so submit your questions for that. On Monday, I'll go ahead and do a bench press mobility breakdown for you. A few tests you can do, especially for Nick, who's coming off that shoulder injury. And then I'll just kind of pick apart some of the questions that we did today, just to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it. Thanks a lot, guys. Tune in.
So if you have any questions, come find us in the gym. We were more than happy to go over anything else in depth that we were not able to cover on our video here. And November 9th, powerlifting.